Hello, and welcome to the Active Shooter Situations What Should You Do course presented by the Mississippi State Personnel Board and created in conjunction with the Mississippi Office of Homeland Security and the Mississippi Gaming Commission, as well as the MDOT Law Enforcement and the Capitol Police. The following material seeks to provide a general overview concerning certain potential situations which could arise in your workplace. This material should not be relied upon as legal advice for any particular situation. Rather, it is intended to assist state agencies and employees in recognizing and appropriately responding to instances of workplace violence in the event of an active shooter. State policy establishes that you as a state employee have the right to feel safe at work. Workplace violence can manifest in any number of ways, from stalking to threats to incidents of extreme violence. The purpose of this training is to prepare you for the worst-case scenario if the situation arises. Active shooter situations can escalate quickly. Are you prepared? An active shooter is defined as an individual who is killing or attempting to kill people in a confined and populated area, such as an office, school, shopping center, or concert. Perpetrators sometimes use forms of weapons other than guns, such as knives or explosives, but we are going to use the term active shooter to describe all such perpetrators. Generally, active shooters are not targeting specific individuals, and there is no pattern in the selection of their victims. So who are active shooters? Motives for active shooters vary, but common motives include anger, revenge, extreme ideology, and mental illness. Shooters may also have an avenger mindset, meaning they feel that they are righting a wrong done to themselves or someone else. There are three major aspects dealing with active shooters in this course: preparation, prevention, and response. Let's start with response. In an active shooter situation, your survival depends on you taking action and working to save your own life. Do not freeze, and do not play dead or simply wait for the shooter to kill you. You deserve to survive. First, stay aware of your surroundings. There are certain behaviors and situations that should make you aware that you are involved in a potential active shooter situation and prompt you to act. These can include the sound of gunfire, people screaming, shouting, or running for safety, alarms sounding, and intercom announcements directing people to seek safety. As human beings, our instincts are to rationalize incidents which occur around us, writing off a gunshot as construction noise or a fire alarm as simply a drill. Do not rationalize or write off what is going on around you. Instead, assess the situation, respond, and act. Remember to breathe and shift your fear into anger. This will provide an adrenaline rush to help you take action. So how should you respond in an active shooter situation? There are three key responses that you can make. You can avoid, you can deny, and you can defend. If you can escape and avoid the shooter, this is your first and best option. In order to be prepared for this, you should walk around your office and familiarize yourself with exits, including stairs and escape routes. Knowing your options will speed up your escape. If you can escape and avoid the shooter, this is your first and best option. Your number one priority in an active shooter situation should be to survive. and escaping the situation allows you to do this and to safely work to help others by contacting law enforcement. Your first instinct may be to call 911, but do not stop to do this. Wait until you reach a safe place to call 911. It is important that you don't delay by trying to grab your things. Leave wallets, purses, keys, and other valuables behind. Nothing is more important than your life. Move quickly and quietly to the nearest safe exit. Grab coworkers, clients, and visitors along the way, but do not wait for them if they resist you. Your priority is to get yourself to safety. Once you have made it to safety, call 911 and try to prevent others from entering the building. Some important things to remember when you avoid are: do not stop to call the authorities. Get yourself to a safe place and then call 911. Know the exits and potential routes to safety in your office and try to reach them if possible. Grab coworkers, clients, and visitors and direct them to a route to safety, but do not stop or try to force someone who is being uncooperative to come with you. Leave all of your possessions behind. No object is more important than your life. Once you have reached safety, try to prevent other people from entering the situation. If you are unable to avoid the shooter by running away from the area, you must deny access to your location. Do everything you can to prevent the shooter from reaching you. Lock any doors if possible. Also, look for heavy or substantial items to barricade the door or any entrances to your location. The more barriers, the better. Turn the lights out to be as discreet as possible. Turn off your cell phone or silence it. This includes vibration mode. It is also a good idea to hide behind large objects if you can, but be careful not to restrict your movement too much. You may need to run away or fight back later. Find an object to use to defend yourself in case the need arises. Remain quiet and calm. To recap, ways to deny access include locking the door and/or barricading the door with heavy objects such as tables, desks, copiers, or bookcases. Turn the light out in your area and turn off or silence your cell phone, including vibration mode. Hide behind substantial objects for protection, but be careful not to restrict your movement too much in case you have the opportunity to run or the situation changes and you have to defend yourself. Remain quiet and calm until help arrives. It is also a good idea to find an object to use to defend yourself if the need arises. Some additional tips from law enforcement professionals regarding denying access to your location include: use computer or power cords to prevent someone from opening a door that opens to the outside. Work together and double up cords if possible. Put a doorstop under the door backwards to wedge the door closed. Use a belt to secure a door's mechanism. If you have no supplies available, use the tip of your foot to push the door closed, but be sure not to stand directly in front of the door to protect yourself from potential gunshots. Additionally, there are products available for consumer purchase that can assist users in denying access to their location. If the shooter enters your area, do not freeze or play dead. You must act to defend yourself. You are not helpless, so do not be afraid to fight back. Look around the room for an object that can be used as a weapon and work together if possible. Position yourself close to the door, but do not stand directly behind it. The first person must commit to grabbing the weapon, and others must be ready to fight the shooter. Commit to your actions, act with aggression, and fight for your life. Remember, you are not helpless. Don't be afraid to fight. Go for vulnerable areas and fight for your life. Look around the room for an improvised weapon. This can be anything from a fire extinguisher to your keyboard. Commit to your actions and act with aggression. When you can, team up with your coworkers and work together to bring down the shooter. The greater your number, the better your odds. Some additional tips from law enforcement professionals regarding defending yourself include: when you position yourself, remain close enough to the doorway that the shooter does not have the opportunity to open fire waiting for you to rush at them. If you are able to work together, the first person by the door must grab the weapon. It is important to control the weapon before going after the shooter. Others must assist by using improvised weapons or defense techniques. The vulnerable areas you should target first include the eyes and throat. Assailants who can't see or can't breathe can't shoot. Use your thumbs to press into the top of the shooter's cheekbones to gouge the eyes. Do not use your fist to hit the throat. Use the web of your flat hand and hit with force. Additionally, if you decide to attack the groin area, use your shin to kick upward between the legs. When defending yourself, do not hit once and then stop to see what happens. Be ruthless and relentless in fighting for your life. Now let's take a look at what to do when law enforcement arrives on the scene. Remember that calling 911 should not be your first priority. You deserve to survive, so your first priority should be to remove yourself from the situation. Once you escape to a safe location, call 911 if you are able. Give as much information as you can to the dispatcher, but never guess or speculate. It is important that law enforcement are acting on accurate information. Examples of helpful details include location of the shooter, number of shooters if there are more than one, any physical description of the shooter, description of weapons, and the number of potential victims. When law enforcement arrives, it is imperative to understand that their number one priority is to stop the killing. They are highly trained professionals who will be working to stop the shooter before they can take any other actions. The injured are not their first priority, but do not panic. Help for the injured will be on the way. Remember to follow all instructions of law enforcement officers. When law enforcement arrives on the scene, there are certain actions that you can take to ensure you don't hinder their goal of stopping the shooter. These include showing your hands, dropping any objects in your hands that may be perceived as a weapon, including cell phones, staying where you are, and avoiding pointing or yelling. Remember that medical help is on the way, and be sure to follow all law enforcement instructions without hesitation or question. In order to ensure that you can respond quickly and effectively, you should take the time to plan out what actions you could take in an active shooter situation. All of the responses we described require quick thinking and immediate action. Safety can hinge on having a plan and knowing how and when to execute it. As an individual, you should be aware of your surroundings and evolving situations. Be sure to develop your own plan for what you would do in an active shooter situation. Identify your possible exits, evacuation routes, and potential safe locations. Familiarize yourself with your workspace and know if you might serve a special role, such as assisting a mobility-limited coworker or client. Script your plan in your head and be ready for action. Once you have developed your plan, make sure that you are comfortable enough with it so you can act on it quickly and confidently. Do an actual walkthrough of what you might do to avoid, deny, and defend. Be aware of changes in your workspace, such as construction or added security access points. While it is not possible to prevent all workplace violent situations, someone's behavior may indicate a threat. It is important to be mindful of changing situations and to be aware of what to do should you perceive suspicious, erratic, or threatening behaviors in a coworker, client, or visitor. Beware of potential warning signs. Employees typically do not just snap, but display indicators of potentially violent behavior over time. If these behaviors are recognized, they can often be managed and treated. Indicators of potentially violent behavior by an employee may include depression and withdrawal, repeated violations of agency policies, explosive outbursts of anger or rage without provocation, behavior that may suggest paranoia, like everyone is against me, escalation of domestic problems into the workplace, and talk of severe financial problems. So, what do you do when you witness these warning signs? Report suspicious behavior and/or threats to the appropriate person. This could be your supervisor, your agency's human resources department, building security, or law enforcement. If you are a supervisor or manager, you have a heightened level of responsibility to report such behaviors and to act appropriately when a report is made to you. So how do you decide what action to take? First, use your good judgment and common sense. If there is an immediate threat, act accordingly. When reporting suspicious behavior, do not hesitate to call 911. If you are unsure of the severity or accuracy of the report, err on the side of caution. It is better to go ahead and act than to fail to do so and end up in an active shooter situation. There is no real profile for an active shooter that would let you know who may become a perpetrator. While paying attention and reporting threats and suspicious behaviors may serve to prevent an active shooter situation, survival will generally come down to preparation and taking action. Prepare for the possibility of an active shooter by having a plan and determining how you as an individual would put your plan into place. Pay attention to suspicious or threatening behaviors in your coworkers, clients, and visitors, and report them. In an active shooter situation, always remember that you have a right to live. Act according to your circumstances and either avoid, deny, or defend. We hope that this training will provide you with the basic tools you need to act appropriately and survive an active shooter situation. We would like to thank the Mississippi Department of Homeland Security and Gaming Commission, as well as MDOT Law Enforcement and the Capitol Police for their support and assistance in the development and creation of this training.